This tutorial covers the creation of serial numbers, date codes, and more. To create a serial number, you're just going to start with a basic text box. So we're going to go ahead and create text. And once that text is created, we can come over here under the Object Properties area, and we can see there's a box for Enable Variable Text. We're just going to check that. Now once we check that, it's going to give us more options. And those options are what's going to allow us to create serial numbers, date codes, and more. So we can start by adding a new item, okay, and that's a new text element. So if we look here, we have several. We have a fixed text, which would be just static text. We have serial numbers, date codes, timestamps. We have some communication protocols if you want to trigger a outside source over TCP/IP or serial communication to get information, or if you want to read from a file, a keyboard, or anything like that. Those will be covered in a separate tutorial. For now, we're just going to focus on the fixed text, serial number, date code, and time. So first, we're going to look at our serial number. Once we click that, you can see we've got multiple options here that we can set up to program our serial number. We've got the starting serial number, the current serial number, the limit, which is the max, the increment, which is the number of steps it'll take each time. We've also got some other methods of manipulating the text here, which I'm not going to get fully into. We can also set this up to reset at a specific time. So if you want to set that at a specific time, to clear the current serial number and reset. For example, if you hit your third shift, at the end of that third shift is over at a specific time, and you want your first shift operator to automatically start with new serial number for the day, you can do that. So just to create a basic serial number, we're going to start at, let's say, 1. We're going to currently be at 1, and we're going to give ourselves a limit of, let's say, 999. Alright, now we can go ahead and click OK, and now you can see we have our serial number. Now when I mark, this serial number will automatically increment each time I mark. Let's say you don't want these leading zeros. You do want your number to go up, but you don't want all these false spaces, so to speak, or non-used spaces. Come over here and click on this serial number and modify it. Once you modify it, you can choose no leading zero, click OK, and now you can see I have just the starting digit. Now as this grows and becomes 2 digits, you will get an additional digit, so on and so forth. I'm just going to come back over and modify this. I'm going to put my zeros back on, uncheck no leading zero, and now you can see we're back to where we're at. Now I'm going to come over and modify this, and I'm going to show you how to do a basic date code. So I'm just going to modify the serial number, change it to a date code. In the date code settings, you can see we have a lot of different options to choose from. We have a 4-digit year, a 2-digit year, the month, the day in the month, day in the year, day in the week, week in the year, or user defined, which you can set up. So we give you a lot of options. A very common one would be the day in the year, which is the Julian date. If I select that and click OK, you can now see, because it is the 6th, it is the 6th day of the year. It is January 6th, and so we're seeing a Julian date code for that. Go ahead and modify this one more time by selecting it. Click Modify, and show you a timestamp as well. Clicking on time. So you have the option here to add several of these. You've got hour, 24-hour, 12-hour, minute, second, so on and so forth. I'll go ahead and show you the 12-hour. And now you can see it is currently 2:52 p.m. and so you can see that we have the hour. Now what if you want to add other items to this number? What you're going to do now is build onto this. So let's start fresh. I'm going to go ahead and delete this, and I'm going to add a new one. So let's say we want to start with a 4-digit serial number. We're currently starting at 1, but let's say we're at 1,245, and our limit is, let's say, 10,000. I'm going to go ahead and put that serial number in there. Now you can see our serial number, and now I want to add, in addition to that, a date code, and I want that to be the day in the year, the Julian date. I'm going to add that, and now you can see we've got that Julian date set behind that. I want to go ahead and add one more thing, which is going to be a timestamp. And I want to make this a timestamp that gives me the 24-hour, the minute, and all the way down to the second. So I'm going to go ahead and add the hour first in the 24-hour time frame. You can see since it's just past 2 o'clock, 2:54, almost 3, it's at 14. It'll switch to 15. I'm going to go ahead and add in another one, which would be the minutes. And I'm going to add one more, which would be the seconds. So now you can see we've created quite a complex, unique serial number by adding a 4-digit serial number, a Julian date code, 24-hour version of the hour, along with the minutes and the seconds. Now, this text will not update as I'm sitting here watching the screen. However, if I go to mark, it will update to the correct minutes, hours, and seconds before it marks. So you will not see a live update. It will not tick or change like a clock when you're viewing the software. However, it will update when you go to mark. This is a little crowded, so this is where the fixed text that we discussed comes into play. So let's say we want to add a divider, just a backslash in between our serial number and the start of our Julian date. We can do that. Now you see it's at the end, so all I'm going to do is move this up till where I get to where I want to be. And move it up one more. Now you can see I've got my 4-digit serial, and then I've got my backslash, and I've got my Julian. And I'll just add another in to give you another quick example. There's a dash, and let's put this dash in between the Julian and our timestamp. So now you can see we've divided that. If you really want to get your time accurate, we're going to put a colon in there. And I won't take this all the way up, but you'll get the picture here. So now we have our hours with a colon, the minutes, and the seconds. And you can see each time I've changed this, it did update. That's because I made a change over here. So either making a change here again, or when you go to mark, this will update. However, it will not update as you're staring at the screen with nothing happening. It will stay static until you go to mark. That's a short overview on creating serial numbers and date codes.